Okay, welcome. My name is Vince Palco, founder of AdTunes, and I wanted to bring you this new service that we're providing for folks. And it comes to you because we're working with businesses that are super complex, super involved with kind of sharing what the business's value proposition is. This service was born out of that, and I'll kind of tell you a couple stories. But we'll go dive right into the information. I'm going to share my screen. And this is a real estate application. This was a result of meeting with our client for 3 days out in Arizona. And he's walking everyone through kind of the ins and outs of investing in apartments. And if you see, I've got the apartments here in the back, overarching, there's a lot of things going on, but we're using a metaphor to communicate with our audience all the information. And I took what was a 3-day seminar and we boiled it down into this 10-15 minute conversation. We'll just go over it very high level. But we have the investors in the middle, and this was an application to inspire investors to kind of think of all the options that are out there, but put their money into apartments, because we're all racing to retirement. And so investors here considering these options, but if we start in the upper left, see if I can zoom in. The burning platform for why you'd want to be in apartments is as baby boomers are getting older, they're leaving their homes and driving to apartments and moving themselves and their partners into apartments. And we have data that supports that here and here. Also, 4 out of 10 millennials are not buying homes, they're renting. And so we have that group of folks coming into here. And that's always, there's more data on this wall that you can kind of walk people through when it comes to, hey, if I'm putting my investment into something, I want to know that apartments are going to be, all the doors are going to be filled. So that's an important element to the story that we share. And then we have, like I said, the investors in the middle. They don't want volatility. They want to get there fast. And so they're looking at this landscape of options. We have apartments. We couldn't put the number in there for governmental reasons, government reasons. CDs get you 1%, bonds get you 3%, REITs get you 5%. And oh, by the way, REITs have a bunch of fees loaded up in the back of the truck. And then we have 8% from stocks. And by the way, and you put it into the market, it's like putting it into the Wall Street casino where you're almost gambling. And so we had a fun little graphic there. But Vince, I don't have any money to invest. Where do I get the money to invest? Well, the good news there is you can take from old IRAs, which I have done myself, 403B, took that out and put it into apartments. And essentially old 401ks. You can take that money and invest it with this client of mine. And then when we dive into kind of what are the investments, we have different kinds of apartments. We have A apartments, B apartments, and C. We don't invest in A because that's like the cream of the crop. There's, just built, not really a lot of things you can do to that complex in investment, but we invest in B and C level apartments. So ones that need fixed up, ones that are poorly managed, and those are the ones that my client goes after. And so you can put a bunch of things into here about like how does this compare to fix and flip? Well, you don't get your hands dirty. You don't spend all your time racing back and forth to Lowe's. And basically, you can get higher returns with this. And so you have other concerns that you can put on the table. Is my money secure? And all those other questions that people want to know. And oh, by the way, apartments with my client gets you essentially 6% a year. So every quarter you get a check in the mail or via automatic deposit. And then at the end of the 5 years, so they're in for 5 years, at the end of that 5 years, you get another 6% annualized over that time. So essentially it's 12% a year, what it comes out to. Pretty amazing. And so what this graphic does is it tells that story. So I can sit down with across the table, we can print this out in 17 by 22 and have them go, wow, what's this all about, and create curiosity. Or we can put it into a PowerPoint presentation. And I'll show you that in a little bit. First, I'll show you another application, and we create these things custom to tell your story. This is another client who essentially is in internet marketing, but he does it for doctors, and that's called Evergenius. And so you have to educate docs on how this all works. So at a high level, 30,000 foot view, we're sharing with them the ins and outs of this software. And so it's kind of a web builder. You've got all these different leads coming in, all those leads, so many turn into prospects. Out of those prospects, so many turn into appointments. Out of those appointments, so many turn into consults. And then we close so many of those. And essentially, we have patients coming in the door. And by the way, he can airdrop a team in to work on your website, work on review sites, and essentially build this whole mass of marketing to help doctors build their practice. And the coolest feature is that this software can keep track of the leads, can keep track of like how many were qualified, and keep track of this total sales. And it's got all this in a control panel. It's really sweet. And so I created this and took it to one of these conferences and was promoting it, sharing it. We had on a nice big board. And I was talking to a few folks, came across a couple of doctors, and they were like, I need to find out who this guy is. Do you have his contact information? And so I'm like, I want you to invest in this service. But sure, I can give you the contact to Evergenius. And between that, I took that back to my client. And I said, you can actually use this with junior level sales folks that really don't know all the ins and outs, just to kind of qualify your lead, send them to you, and then you can close them. So really, really fun little happenstance type story there, where I was driving business for my client. Who knew? More objections here, but I already have a website. What do I do? How much will this cost me? Is this a pain to change the system? All those things you can get right on the table and get their answers to those questions. So, and the beautiful thing about this is you can take it into PowerPoint. My team will create a really cool, professionally designed PowerPoint presentation that breaks down each step of that story in the images, and really dive into it and explain what is going on in the different panels, is cross sections of the actual visual. So pretty amazing, nice little presentation. So if you have, if you're in real estate's a popular niche with this. It takes a lot of time, so it's not like one of these, just take you 10 minutes, Vince, we'll create this. No, we kind of go through all your sales processes, drum up a few different thumbnail sketches and send those off to you. And then we also will come back and make changes, ink the cartoons, the illustrations, and then come back in and create the color and drop all that in. So once all that's complete, takes about a month and a half to do that. Then we can actually animate it. And this is a cool part. We're actually in the process of animating almost like a flyover video where people can move, you can see text bubbles pop up, you can hear what they're saying, and a really, really fun, engaging marketing piece. So if that is something, so I was talking about real estate and financial services, technology, like we've shown here, anything that's a complex story that you need to simplify, that's our wheelhouse. So I hope you enjoyed these marketing maps. And if you have any questions regarding these, feel free to email us at marketing@adtunes.com, and look forward to hearing from you. And give us a like and a comment below this video too. Much appreciated.